The first wick represents Spirit, God, the Creator, the Almighty. And then the second wick represents us as community. And whenever we gather together, we shine a greater light. I think I need to get a new candle. It's not, my wicks are going down very far, but that's okay. All right. So today, John is our speaker. What you going to be speaking about, John?
Being a holistic mystic.
Being a holistic mystic. Okay, perfect. That sounds wonderful. And John didn't hear me say Michael's here, but he's not going to be joining our today because he's got a lot to do before he leaves town tonight. So for the week. But all right. I think that's pretty much all we need to do. And John, why don't you do a opening song?
All right. It's a new start for a new month. We are making a new start, willing to do our part, getting better day by day. Creative action is a good start, from the heart, from living in a better way. Working together with the skills of many hands, helping each other make the best life we can. We are making a new start, willing to do our part, getting better day by day. Creative action is an art, a good start, from the heart of living in a better way. Life becoming better, as harm and suffering cease. Kindness for each other, we live and grow in peace. Making a new start, awareness growing here and there, as we care for one another, love flowers everywhere. We are making a new start, willing to do our part, getting better day by day. Creative action is an art, good start, from our heart to living in a better way. For living in a better way. For living in a better way.
All right. Thank you so much, John Miller. We very much appreciate it. Okay, so next week, today, John, like I said, John's going to be our speaker. Next week is going to be Michael. I don't think we ever decided on the third week yet.
Speaking on Love Wins.
Michael's in the background saying he's going to be speaking on Love Wins. Actually, I'll be happy to do the third week, and I think I put myself down for the fourth too. But whatever, we can do.
I'm doing the fourth.
You're doing the fourth, okay. All right, and then the fifth we have 5.
Yeah. Well,
So
I'm sorry, I'm doing the fifth.
you're doing the fifth, okay. Yeah. All right, so or we could just on the third since we normally would do a, what is the wording I'm looking for?
A discussion on the 5th.
Discussion, we'll do a discussion on the 3rd, and then on the 4th, I'll do the talk. We'll do it in the middle of the month this time. Why not? So, okay. And then I know John's not going to be, Tim, are you still going to be able to do that change with John on the 4th to do the music on the 4th?
Yeah, I have myself down for the 22nd. Is that with you guys?
That is it.
Correct?
That is it. That's correct. So wonderful.
A little reminder, maybe a few days in advance from you or Michael wouldn't
okay.
hurt one bit.
We can definitely do that. So not a problem. And I see Kyle's here. We missed her Kyle, we missed you last week. Glad that you are here. All right. So okay, so let's just go into meditation and go from there.
Is it floating in a sea of peace beyond all we know? Peace is growing on and on we go. Joy is now, joy is here, joy is everywhere, floating in a sea of joy beyond all we know. Joy is growing on and on everywhere we go. Love is now, love is here, love is everywhere, in a sea of love beyond all. Love is growing on and on everywhere we go.
just to let you know, your music keeps cutting in and out. So just to let you might, just since you are our speaker, you may want to take care of that while I finish a meditation. So, all right. So the peace is now. Peace is everywhere. Love is everywhere. We are growing on a sea of love, sea of peace, sea of joy. And as we feel that sea of love and peace and joy, life and light, beauty and wisdom, power and glory, just give thanks. I just know that as each and every one of us come together, that we recognize spirit for what spirit is, which is love, peace, joy, wholeness, completeness, perfection. God is everywhere. Spirit is everywhere. It is in us, as us, and through us. And it is always protecting us and providing for us. So I am one with spirit. You are one with spirit. Each and every one of us is one with God. Each and every one of us are one with God. So I give thanks for the opportunity to be here, to be together as Summit Center for Spiritual Living. I know that John's talk is divinely inspired, that anything that goes with the sound continues to go okay now for the rest of the service. I know that any needs that need to be done, whether it be health, wealth, employment, friendship, that I just know that that is being taken care of for each and every person. And that as a group, we are making a wonderful place in the world. And that more as we gather together, other people gather together and see our light, feel our light. We see their light and feel their light. And that spirit is just really reigning above everything. So with this, I give thanks. I am grateful and thankful. I'm grateful for John doing the music and the speaking today. Anna doing the Facebook media. I'm glad that Tim is here, Carol Ann is here, Kyle is here. I am just very happy for those who are seeing this either on Facebook or later on the rebroadcast that they are here. So with that, one more time, I give thanks. And I release my word into the world, knowing that it is perfect, whole, and complete. So it is. Amen.
What is now? Love is here. Love is everywhere. Floating in the sea of love. Beyond all we know, love is growing on and on. Every we go.
Oh, it's so beautiful. So as you open your eyes, I've asked you to open up your cameras and take a moment to look into each other's eyes and see and feel the magnificent spirit that you are and that person is, whoever you're looking at. There we go. Hi, Kyle. We missed you last week. So anyway, so just feel that wonderful spirit and just know that it is guiding us in every way. So with that, thank you, everyone. And I forgot to mention Michael. He's kind of here. He's just he's not on camera because he's listening. He's getting ready for his trip that he's going for the week. So, anyways, John Miller, I turn this over to you for since you are our speaker today. So thank you, John.
All right. Well, today we're going to talk about being a holistic mystic, which I consider myself to be. And as an introduction, I want to talk about a little bit about the background of spirituality and religion and so forth briefly. First of all, we have here an experience of the sacred being as diverse as humanity is. This ranges from animism of the ancient past and still remote tribes to pantheism, to a moral code, to the most sophisticated theology. The problem being that the attitude of our religion is right, yours is wrong, that could lead to hate and bloodshed, as we've seen over the many centuries. But in the psychohistory of human consciousness, the primordial humans were in awe of their environment. They believed that souls or spirits are in everything, trees, animals, the wind and water, and so on. And that was called animism. And then as an individuated consciousness developed out of tribal consciousness, there came eventually to be a sense of separation that arose, a dualism that developed. Me, not me, consciousness, the unconscious, good, evil, light, dark, sacred, profane, God, devil, and so on. And also consideration of the cosmogony and cosmology, how the world was formed and how it operates. The myth of a hero god vanquishing the chaos monster is an ancient one that even elements of that appear in our Bible, with creation out of the remains of the monster, which could have been some celestial being or something like that, a celestial planet or something. And then, of course, the maintenance of order became very important. Cultures developed a New Year's festival, an annual reenactment in harmony with the seasons, a reenactment of this victory of the creation, and ritual and prayer that they had to perform precisely and exactly to be favorable to the gods and other modalities of pleasing the gods. So religion came out of that milieu, and the term "blessed be the tie that binds" is the real definition of the word religion. So religion is tying together two things. It's a binding, but it means connection to God, but it's also connection to your world, your community, the institution that you believe in or attend. And then individuals that became leaders of these activities, the witch doctor, the shaman, oracle, a priest, a pastor, a monk, nun, and a mystic. And then, of course, theology and philosophy developed with a concern for metaphysics beyond what is beyond the physical. Questions like what is life? What is the nature of things? The nature of being. In philosophy, that's called ontology. Is there an intelligent order? What is God? Spirit, creative, loving, aware life energy. That's what Jesus told us God is, spirit. Footnotes to Plato and Aristotle developed in philosophy of the pursuit of who am I? I am what I know, or a doctrine then unfolded, and we have the whole experience of accepting the doctrine versus your own experience. So the great self-search throughout human history, and ever more so even today. Out of that came psychology, the study of the ego, the mind, the intellect, the self. As Descartes told us, cogito ergo sum, as I think, therefore I am. We have perception versus interpretation of what you perceive. And so we explore thought and feeling, intuition and will, the aspects of our perception, and seek out spiritual experience and understanding. Well, some examples of spiritual experience are awe and wonder, like in nature in the original times, awe at nature, and we still have that built into us, and awe of fire and electricity and natural elements, dreams, visions, out-of-body travel experiences. Then we have what are called epiphanies, appearances of God or an agent of God that appear in throughout human history. Miracles and healings, the whole idea of reincarnation, meditation, calming the mind, moving into expectancy, and submitting the ego to be transformed. Seeking an end to suffering, belief in salvation, a new thought, what we might call practical mysticism. And that's still, though, in the realm of thinking and belief. But beyond the physical, the psychic phenomena, the near-death experiences, the actual death itself and contemplation of that, mastery over the physical, an ascension process. We are now a lot of people talking about ascension of the planet into another dimension. Some think that death is not all it's cracked up to be either, that we might just go on to other experiences from here once our body's done. So we seek out the essence of divine reality, the sense of the numinous, and try to have a personal relationship with God as spirit, as a major focus of much of religion, and thereby seek guidance and a return to God, seeking eternal harmony and even ecstasy. So that brings us to mysticism, which appears in both Christianity, Gnosticism, Hasidism, Sufism, Hinduism, Buddhism, Zen, and I believe even in Zoroastrianism, although that's one I haven't studied. All these other ones I've studied pretty well, but traditional examples of mystical practice include, from some of these traditions, communion, a unification with the divine, the Hasidic consideration of the holiday known as Purim, where you drink wine until you can't tell the difference between Haman and Mordecai, the ancient enemies that found in the book of Esther. Sufi dancing in the Muslim tradition, ecstasy in action, where they dance to a mystical frenzy. The Hindu idea of moksha, release from karmic impediments. Buddhist nirvana or Zen satori, experiencing reality is not what you think. It's not ego. And then devotion, prayer, meditation, these practices that we are familiar with. Well, let's take a look if I can share the screen here. Let's see if I can do this. And we'll take a look at what Wikipedia has to say about mysticism. There it is. Mysticism, from the Greek mystikos, an initiate of a mystery religion, is the, what is that word? Pursuit of communion with, identity with, or conscious awareness of an ultimate reality, divine. Let me move this out of the way. Oop. Divine spiritual truth or God through direct experience, intuition, instinct, or insight. Mysticism usually centers on a practice or practices intended to nurture those experiences or awareness. And I emphasize this because you might know that I talk a lot about awareness as another way of describing the divine reality. Mysticism may be dualistic, maintaining a distinction between the self and the divine, or it may be non-dualistic. Differing religious traditions have described this fundamental mystical experience in different ways. Nullification and absorption within God's infinite light, complete non-identification with the world, liberation from the cycles of karma, deep intrinsic connection to ultimate reality, union with God, divinization, a participation of the divine nature, innate knowledge, experience of one's true blissful nature, seeing the light or God in everyone, and of course, the love of God. It goes on to say a basic premise of nearly every mystical path, regardless of religious affiliation, is that experiences of divine consciousness, enlightenment, and union with God that are made possible by mystical paths are available to everyone who is willing to follow the practice of a given mystical system. Within a given mystical school or path, it is much more likely for the mystical approach to be seen as divine science, another term we're familiar with. Because of the direct, replicable elevation of consciousness, the mystical approach can offer to anyone regardless of previous spiritual or religious training. Some mystic traditions can exclude the validity of other traditions. However, mystic traditions tend to be more accepting of other mystic traditions than the non-mystical versions of their traditions. That's very common. This is based on the premise that the experienced divinity is able to bring other mystics to their own tradition if necessary. Some, but not all mystics, are even open to the idea that their tradition may not be the most practical version of mystical practice. I don't know if you ever studied the book Autobiography of a Yogi by Yogananda, but he was very good at appreciating other traditions' mystical experiences. What mysticism is most concerned with, however, is having the most effective set of practices to attain enlightened consciousness and union with God. Not much else beyond this matters to a dedicated mystic who focuses on the inner realms, mind, breath, non-thinking awareness, and so on. Mystics are not too concerned with the opinions or the religious tools of their more conservative religious compatriots. They warn of the mind's incapacity to create when controlled by embedded defensive ego values. So I don't know who put this Wikipedia entry up, but it's pretty interesting. And then they also have this various forms of transcendent identity statements, which you might call mystical statements, like Atman is Brahman, God is love, there's only one without a second, or other phrases of suggested immanence. So a lot goes on in the mystical realms of our planet in many different cultures, and we appreciate it. Let me exit full screen here. There we go. Well, now I have some quotes from a few mystics of our planet's history. And some of the common themes are visitation or manifestation by the divine reality, a sense of union, silence, presence in the moment now. I think we've discussed that before. Experience of love and gratitude. So from Saint Teresa of Avila, a Christian mystic, I believe in the 1500s, trust God that you are exactly where you are meant to be. Another theme common to our New Thought ideas. Accustom yourself continually to make many acts of love, for they enkindle and melt the soul. St. John of the Cross, another well-known mystic. Strive to preserve your heart in peace. Let no event of this world disturb it. The endurance of darkness is the preparation for great light. It is best to learn silence, the faculties, and best to learn to silence the faculties and to cause them to be still so that God may speak. Who teaches the soul if not God? And one of the most famous mystics of history is Meister Eckhart, another Catholic priest and theologian. He wrote a lot too, and he said, if the only prayer you say in your entire life is thank you, it will be enough. Another idea familiar to us. Well, also, he said, there exists only the present instant, a now, which always and without end is itself new. So you see how many of these mystical phrases of history are very similar to what we discuss in our New Thought and Science of Mind teachings. Theologians may quarrel, but the mystics of the world speak the same language. The eye through which I see God is the same eye through which God sees me. My eye and God's eye are one eye, one seeing, one knowing, one love. And Meister Eckhart gave the church fathers some concerns, shall we say. They had some issues, but he was quite a character. But more recently, a spiritual master known as Adi Da was on the planet, and he had some great writings, many very copious amount of writings. I used to be a student, but he says in a few of his phrases, each of us is responsible to bless all others. Therefore, bless everyone and everything with every action, every thought, and every breath. It is not possible to bless another by presuming a position of superiority for yourself or inferiority on the part of another. To bless another, one must worship and acknowledge that one in his or her true form, inhering in the divine, present as an expressive manifestation of the radiant transcendental being. Basically, acknowledging the God in you and others. The urgent need for divine intervention in our time is self-evident. We are looking at the effects of unbridled technology in the hands of unillumined beings, fast destroying the very roots and planetary home of human culture. With such trends at work, what hope is there for human sanity? Well, he offers some ideas for hope. And a lot of these quotes come from an article or book called a chapter, I believe, called Not Two is Peace, on liberation from ego and egoic society. And then our most favorite mystic, Ernest Holmes, who wrote about mysticism, a high invocation, invoking the divine mind, implanting within it seeds of thought relative to oneself. And this is why some of the teachers of older times used to teach their pupils to cross their hands over their chests and say, wonderful, wonderful me, definitely teaching them that as they held themselves, so they would be held. Act as though I am, and I will be. One of the ancient sayings is that to the man who can perfectly practice inaction, all things are possible. A mystic is not a mysterious person, but is one who has a deep inner sense of life and unity with the whole. Mysticism and mystery are entirely different things. One is real while the other may or may not be an illusion. There is nothing mysterious in the truth, so far as it is understood. But all things, of course, are mysteries until we understand them. A mystic is one who intuitively perceives truth and who, without mental process, arrives at spiritual realizations. It is from the teachings of the great mystics that the best in the philosophy of the world has come. The civilization of today is built around the teachings of a few people who have intuitively perceived spiritual truth. Our great code of law was given by Moses, a man who, through the mystic sense, perceived that we live in a universe of law. Our greatest code of ethics was given through the perception of the prophets, culminating in such teachings as those of Jesus and Buddha. Who was there could have taught such men as these? By what process of mentality did they arrive at their profound conclusions? We are compelled to recognize that spirit alone was their teacher. They were indeed taught of God. The mystic intuitively senses reality and instinctively knows the truth. And in this way, all of the best in literature, music, and art have come. Without exception, all of the mystics have taught, but there is one ultimate reality, and that this ultimate reality is here and now, if we could but see it. Strange as it may seem, the great mystics have all believed in a personal God. That is, a God who is personal to all who believe in him. They have not, of course, believed in the anthropomorphic God, but they have believed in a God who is consciously working in and through man, or humanity, and they have adored and worshiped this God. The great mystics have been illumined, that is, they have at times seen through the veil of matter and perceived the spiritual universe. They have taught that the kingdom of God is now present and needs to be but realized, and they have apparently sensed that this kingdom is within. One of the most illuminating things that mysticism has revealed is that evil is not an ultimate reality. Evil is simply an experience of the soul on its journey toward reality. It is not an entity, but an experience necessary to self-unfoldment. It is not a thing of itself, but simply a misuse of power. It will disappear when we stop looking at it or believing in it. We cannot stop believing in it as long as we indulge in it. So the mystic has always taught the race to turn from evil and do good. Well, we have many ways of expressing ourselves as mystics. There's music mysticism, which I engage in quite frequently. Nature mystic. Perhaps someone knows a butterfly mystic. Friendship mystic, where we love our friends. Sports mystic, for some reason I have a fascination because my aunt and uncle and cousins lived in Massillon, and I spent a lot of time there with Massillon football because that's where football started, in Canton and Massillon. And I think Canton McKinley High School and Massillon High School have the oldest high school football teams in the nation. And Massillon is like 6-0 or 7-0 or something. They've beaten some of the top teams, and they beat last year's state champions, St. Edwards. I mean, they're just rolling this year. Anyway, it's just interesting. A meditation mystic. We all enjoy that. Ritual mystic, people that perform certain routine acts to achieve a mystical state. Joy mystic, love mystic, and healing mystic. And I try to incorporate as many of these as possible myself in my mysticism. But the goal of mysticism is realization, if you want to call it that, enlightenment, union. We have different ways of thinking of it. So some people think of pantheism, where God is manifest in all that is. Another way to think of it is God at play. Even at Hartford International University of Religion and Peace, kind of a mystical title they made that institution, we had a course called The Religious Significance of Play. We looked at St. Francis and more recent, explorations of reverie and play and mysticism. Like a giant cosmic hide and seek. God has hidden himself in everything, and we can seek out and find him in this great cosmic game. And ultimately, reunion. If you ever go to a family reunion or a high school reunion or something, it's so exciting to see your old friends and so on. And this is a minor level, a microcosm level of the reunion at the macrocosm that we may experience in full realization of reunion with God, so to speak. After all, there is only one network of enlightenment. So everything in the universe, evil and good, serves the enlightenment process. Well, how are we doing on time? I have a mystic meditation we could do.
It's I think we can do it. It's only 11:13, so.
All right. Well, relaxing in your chair, take a nice deep breath and feel the energy flowing through your entire system. We'll begin with what I call the mystic awareness prayer. Also, I have referred to it as the Master's Prayer. It's an adaptation of the Lord's Prayer. Our love, our source in being. Radiant is our loving presence. This awareness is present. This will is manifesting here, now, as it is in being. We are given ongoing support, and our mistakes are forgiven as we forgive mistakes. Let us keep from the tendency to make mistakes as we are freed from false fear. For ours are the awareness, the power, and the radiance of love for every now. And so it is. You were born as a flower with a built-in intent to bloom to your fullest potential. You continue to be reborn in each moment. The trillions of cells in your body are repeatedly replaced. The thoughts in your mind are changing all the time. Yet there is a permanent consciousness within you that is your real nature. It is the presence of the divine. You are a conscious expression of the living, intelligent energy that manifests all that is. The creative spirit is alive in every cell in your body and every hair on your skin. In the silence, feel the power of loving awareness being you. The Divine Master is present within you. The Master says, I am, as witness in all that you do. I am the one, eternal, self-sustained life in action. The presence is alive as a point of conscious awareness in you and me and everyone. There is no human action that this awareness does not observe and know. Each of us is one of its viewpoints. No analysis, no disturbance, no struggle is needed. It is sufficient to just be. I am the power of life, moving through all its changes, living the process of transformation. I am reborn daily with ever greater understanding. And now, as your conscious attention returns to the surroundings of the room, all you do is be as you are. What else is there to be? So be it.
All right. Thank you, John. Very, very good. Reminding of that, that reminder that God is everywhere. God is in us, as us, through us, around us. It's everywhere. And then I also like the where you took the flat. I forgot about this. Wonderful, wonderful me. Just feeling that. Does that not feel good when you put your hands over your heart and say, wonderful, wonderful me? That is so fantastic. I think that's a wonderful thing to say. And as a reminder, and there's just so much in there. So I am going to turn this over to anybody else who may have a comment. Caroline had to leave, so that's why she's not there now. So, anybody else? Oh, there's Tim. Okay.
I was just going to say that was like a whole lot of insight to take in at once. Reminder to go back and re-explore the consciousness of people like Meister Eckhart every so often. And a reminder that we what he and those others you mentioned understand, we can understand. Just need to quiet our minds and let the answers unfold.
Absolutely. Wonderful. All right. Unless there's anybody else, John, would you like to do a song?
All right. Get my song up here and telling me low system resources again. I turned off everything else but Zoom, you know. I don't understand. Hopefully that will not be a problem. Well, this is one of my mystical songs. A number of my songs, as you know, have mystical elements to them. This is called Life is Present. Life flows on within and around us everywhere. Life is there, it follows and inspires our thinking. Life is present everywhere. Consciousness is always rising. Life is flowing all along. Awareness is always growing, awakening in the living song. All around us, life is happening everywhere. Life is there, tuning and always adapting. Life is present everywhere. Consciousness is always rising. Life is flowing all along. Awareness is always growing, awakening in the living song. Consciousness is always rising. Life is flowing all along. Awareness is always growing, awakening in the living song. Hearing sounds, perceiving visions everywhere. Life is there, opening to what it offers. Life is present everywhere. Life is present everywhere.
Thank you. That was beautiful. Oh goodness, that was. I like that song. Of course, you know I love the meditation song that you did. So that's like, as soon as I hear it, I start. It just takes me right into meditation. Anyways, thank you. And so it is that time for announcements. I know Michael would ask me to mention the New Thought Media Network, that there's always wonderful things going on there, and his show on Friday nights. And actually, that's why he's going out of town. They are going to be filming and recording and doing stuff to while at a conference. I'm not sure which one, but it's it's going to be good. So, but he'll be back next week, and so that's pretty much I have. John?
I'm developing a new program called the Grandpa John Show, and be kind of a news, entertainment, wisdom, themes like that. And I'm going to be doing that during the week, probably in the daytime, maybe once a week, and if it goes, maybe expanding it to even eventually daily. But you can find when it starts and where it'll be. I'm going to explore doing it on Rumble, because I'm going to see if that has less trouble than Zoom. And but my reality chat is Wednesday evening at 9 with the login information on Zoom at yeswise.com, where I also have my blog. And that's where you can find out more about my new show, which will start soon.
All right. Grandpa John. That's a.
Yeah.
Are you actually a grandpa?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, not that long ago, though. I mean,
She's two and a half years old.
I'm going to say about 2, yeah. So, wow. Only one at this moment.
Right.
But I'm sure you're going to have more. So
I can be everybody's grandpa now.
Yeah. It's great. All right. So with that, let's
Oh,
go ahead.
real quick. Let me see if I can put this in the chat. I guess it won't work. Oh, wait, here. If you liked today's topic, not this Tuesday, but the following Tuesday, the 10th, that is, it doesn't start till 9 p.m. Eastern time, but if you don't have a job to go to at 5 a.m., it's worth staying up for. My short seminar on mysticism of the Bible. And that link I just put there, if you want to copy it, you can register for it. It's a Zoom meeting just like this. And I think you would all enjoy it. I did, if you're not able to get that link, I did send it to Michael by email. You can get that from him.
All right. Sounds great. Definitely want to try to be there. So, okay. I did forget to give us the opportunity to give. So we usually do that before announcements, but Summit Center for Spiritual Living still has bills. So I just want to, there's 2 ways you can give. You can give through Zelle at sscofakron@gmail.com. That's sscofakron@gmail.com through Zelle, or you can send a check to 1199 Lexington Avenue, Akron, Ohio 44310, and we can get that applied as well. So just take in your mind and in your hands, your whatever it is that you give, whether it's time, talent, treasure, or all three. I just give thanks. I bless this time, and I know that all that I have, all that we have, all that we give, all that we receive is blessed right now in a very special and grateful manner, and that it goes to the work of Summit Center for Spiritual Living, where we share universal love and the truth that sets us free. Amen. Okay, so good, more good, John.
Good, more good is mine, and ever increasing good is mine. Unlimited, infinite good is mine. Wherever I go, I see good. Whatever I do, I feel oh so good. I'm worthy and entitled to good and more good. It crowds itself upon us, it wraps itself around us. We give ourselves permission to accept more good, express more good. More good is ours, and ever increasing good is ours. Thank you, Spirit and Soul.
Okay, and so with that, we're just going to take a moment of silence. And as we go into this moment of silence, please just take into mind anybody who may need some healing, whether it's yourself, family member, co-worker, or the world. And just know that everything is being taken care of at this moment, right here, right now. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. All right.
We are the people of love. We are the people of love. Sing out, people, sing out love. We are the people of love. We are the people of peace. We are the people of peace. Sing out, people, sing out peace. We are the people of peace. We are the people of joy. We are the people of joy. Sing out, people, sing out joy. We are the people of joy. We are the people of love. We are the people of love. Sing out, people, sing out love. We are the people of love. We are the people of love.
Okay. Thank you so much. Hannah, you can stop our Facebook feed. I'm going to stop our recording as well.